Hi, I would like to show you how I make lentils. Lentils is a dish in my family that we've been eating for many years, and I learned from my mother how to make this dish. Actually, when we were young, we never called it lentils, we called it lentejas, which is the Spanish word for lentils. And actually, I never knew that lentils and lentejas were the same thing until much later. Well, first we begin with a pound package of lentils, which costs about $1 in the local market. And next I have brought some vegetables that I will use for this dish. We have tomatoes and cilantro and a bunch of onions, green onions. We may use 2 of them. And some garlic. So the first step that I'll do is to wash the lentils because the lentils are often dirty and sometimes have little rocks in them. So I've already emptied some lentils in a colander, so now I'm going to just wash them, get all the dirt off, and just take a quick look to see if there are any rocks. So this bunch looks pretty good. Okay, that's the end of the first part. After the lentils are washed, I've put them into a large pot with some cold, clean water. So I need to first boil the lentils to get them soft, which takes maybe about 40 minutes. So I'm going to turn on the stove to about a medium flame, maybe about 5, and maybe it's a good idea to put the lid on. I'll make sure to watch that because if I don't, maybe it'll boil over. So while that is cooking, I'm going to go over here and start preparing the other ingredients, beginning with the onions, the green onions. I've already washed them, and now I'm just going to cut off the roots here a bit. Some people like to keep them on, but I think I'll just cut them all off. And I'm not very good at this, but I'll try to cut them down into little pieces. Well, I have finished chopping the onions. Now I'm going to work on chopping up the tomatoes. So I've got 2 large tomatoes, which I'll work with. The first thing I'll do after I've washed them is I think I should probably take off these little labels. They don't taste very good. And the next thing I usually do is to cut out the stem. I don't know why, maybe, I'm sure it doesn't taste good either. I'll throw that away and then start chopping up the tomato. I do it carefully because I'm afraid of cutting myself. I'm sure some of you can do it a lot faster and better than I can, but I do my best. Now that I've finished chopping up the tomatoes, that I'm going to start on the cilantro. But before I do that, I'm going to go back to my lentils and see how they're doing. Looks like everything's boiling, so while they're boiling I'm going to throw in some garlic cloves to give it some extra flavor. I'll probably pull them out later on. Okay, let's go to the cilantro. I've got a nice fresh bunch. I usually just use these little leaves. I guess some people can use the stem and the leaf, but I just tear off the leaf from the stem, and once I've got what I think is enough, then I'll wash everything. So right now I'm just kind of taking my time, making sure the cilantro looks good. It smells wonderful. So the lentils have been cooking for about half an hour now, and now they're nice and soft and ready for the next step. I'm going to add a couple teaspoons of salt to give it some flavor. I think that should be good. I don't like my food too salty. I've put on a pan here at medium flame. I'm going to saute the onions and the tomatoes together. Add a little bit of oil. Maybe I should use a spatula to kind of distribute the oil evenly around. Let it heat up a bit. I'm going to add the onions. Let them soften up a bit. The onions have been sauteing for about 5 to 10 minutes. So before I put the tomatoes in, I'm going to add some minced garlic. I'm doing it the easy way by using this jar minced garlic. I'll stir it up a bit. Okay, that looks good and ready. So now I'm going to add the chopped tomatoes. So after I have the chopped tomatoes added, I'm going to mix it up just a little bit. And the final thing here, I'll be covering my pan and letting it saute for about 15 minutes. So the tomato and onion mixture have sauteed for 15 minutes and they're nice and soft. So I think it's ready to go into the lentils. I'll just empty the pan of ingredients into the lentils. And then I'm going to add the cilantro that has been washed into the pot. I'm going to stir it around a bit to mix the ingredients. And that's it. The lentils are ready to eat.